ब्रह्मचर्यव्रती दंडी सर्ववेदांत पंडित श्रीमद्विवेकयोगी मां प्रचोदयतु सर्वदा. We were speaking about the abundance of pratikas, symbols, which remind us of God, His incarnations, His message, so on and so forth. And they played a great part in holding India together. We had so many holy places in the south, in the north, in the east, in the west, and when they were all turned into pilgrim centers, our devout people moved from one place to another, saw their culture, their traditions, absorbed their ways of worship and worshipped in their temples and things like that. And there was a wholesomeness in the Indian tradition or the Hindu culture. So our culture developed as a big universal heritage through so many steps in which these pratikas also have played a great part. Then it has proved to be a way of national integration. Then another thing is, when we impart this respect for the pratikas in our children, they also learn to look at the world in a different way. For example, we see the animals. The elephant reminds you of Ganapati, Garuda reminds you of Mahavishnu, the snake reminds you of Shiva, and things like that we have seen. So, there is a natural inclination to worship these animals rather than disturbing them or hurting them. Similarly, any number of plants are there. The banyan tree, etc. So you start worshipping them. Then the various temples associated with the great people, where the people worship. So in that way, we developed a great respect for everything around us. That is, in our heart, with the expansion of our feelings, we could hold them all together as one, because these were the days when there was no telephone or radio or anything like that. But even a person coming from south felt at home in the north, and the northerner felt at home in the south, and so on and so forth. So when in the children we impart this, see, for example, when you get up, you say Samudra Vasane Devi Parvadastaravanti. When you look at your hand, first you say Karagre Vasade Lakshmi Karamule Saraswati. When you go for your bath, you take the water, you say Gange Yamune Chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri. So in this way, they started looking at the world in a different way, rather than a purely materialistic commercial outlook. They started looking at the world and its denizens in a different way. And that was the way in which we grew as a whole country. There are some people who say India was never one whole country. There was no union in India. How can they say? It is the same, the union, it was a spiritual union. Through the same threads of spirituality, we were bound together. So that is how we grew. So when we talk of this, then suddenly we may think, aren't there any modern pratikas, images? Yeah, there are. The great men. For example, we take in Kerala, the great Narayana Guru. He started creating his own temples with its own images. He said, when the higher caste people rebelled against this, his building the temples, he said, I am going to install there an image of Shiva. In some places he put just a mirror. You see yourself, know thyself. So in this way, he has created a lot of these pradigas which helped to enlighten the people who were till then downtrodden, who had no education, who were thought to be uncultured. So all these people got elevated through this great effort of Sri Narayana Guru. Then we come to the Vivekananda Rock Memorial, which is a great symbol of national renaissance, regeneration of India. It is a thought which developed as creation of a small memorial for Swami Vivekananda, who came to the land's end of India and did 3 days of tapas here. The thought which originated in the minds of a few people at that point. 1963 is going to come. We must have something in memory of Swamiji during his birthday celebration, Janma Shadabdi. But they could not move ahead. And then comes the adorable, most respected Eknathji Ranade, who took up the reins of this thought, expanded it to the national level, and the small little monument in the minds of those local people got expanded into the Vivekananda Rock Memorial. It not only attracted the attention of the whole of India, all the parliamentarians, all the states, all the kings, all the great industrialists, all the members of the parliament, everyone knew about this new symbol of India's renaissance, India's regeneration. They made their own contributions to it. And it was built in the midst sea where Swamiji sat and meditated. And a great symbol came out of these thoughts of the whole of India. Eknathji was very particular that it should not be confined to a one small section of the society or only to a few rich people who will make their contributions. He collected contributions from as many as some 30-40 lakhs of people. All the states, all the big shots in India, all the parliamentarians, all of them contributed and built up this memorial because Swamiji belonged to everybody. The sleeping India awoke at his touch. Arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. It reverberated throughout India, and we find a new symbol of the awakening of India came up at the land's end of India, where Swamiji sat and meditated. We are celebrating the 50th year this year. Not only that, Manya Eknathji was not satisfied with just a granite memorial. He wanted a living symbol, a living memorial, a band of dedicated men and women who will dedicate their lives for service in the society. And he gave shape to what is today known as the Vivekananda Kendra, 100,000 men and women fired with the zeal of holiness. That was the thought he took up from Swamiji and gave shape to it. Vivekananda Kendra has so many centers all over the country today where young men and women who have given up their personal lives for the sake of service to the poor and the fallen and the downtrodden, they are working, and thus a magnificent modern symbol of our great spiritual heritage is standing today at the land's end of India.